The studio is freezing. They always keep places like this cold. Something about the cameras getting too hot. Bruce Lee is sitting backstage in the green room, waiting. He's wearing a dark suit. Simple, plain, nothing fancy. His hands are shaking a little, not because he's worried about the fight demo, because of something else. The other thing. The thing nobody knows about. This is NBC Studios in Burbank, March 1971. The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Bruce is here because his agent finally talked Carson's team into inviting him. It took 6 months of phone calls, 6 months of selling him, 6 months of explaining that Bruce Lee is more than just the guy from the Green Hornet. The green room smells like old coffee. The couch is worn out and sagging. In the corner, a small TV shows what's happening on stage. Johnny Carson is doing his opening jokes. Jokes about Richard Nixon. Jokes about money and the economy. The audience laughs right on time. This is the biggest talk show in America. About 20 million people are watching. If you're good on this show, doors open. If you mess it up, those same doors close. A production assistant pokes her head in. She's young, maybe 23, a headset around her neck, a clipboard in her hand. "Mr. Lee, you're on in 15 minutes, right after the commercial." "Thank you." She leaves. Bruce stands up and walks back and forth. His stomach feels strange, not sick, just tight, nervous. He's done demos before, broken boards on camera, shown techniques. That part doesn't scare him. He could do that in his sleep. But the other thing, the thing Carson doesn't know about, the thing nobody knows about, except Linda and maybe 2 other people. That's what's making his hands shake. He sits back down, tries to slow his breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Calm down, focus. This is just another show, just another demo. Except it isn't. This one is personal. This one matters more. On the TV, Carson is talking to the first guest, an actress promoting a new movie. She's pretty, friendly, knows how to look into the camera, knows when to laugh at Carson's jokes. The crowd loves her. 7 easy minutes of small talk. Then it's over. Carson thanks her. They go to commercial. The assistant comes back. "Mr. Lee, you're up next. Follow me." Bruce follows her down the hallway. They pass dressing rooms, other guests waiting, crew members running around with papers and headsets. The hallway opens into the stage area. Lights everywhere. Say cameras rolling on tracks. The famous Tonight Show curtain. Ed McMahon is standing to the side. Carson's partner, the announcer. He's drinking something from a mug that probably isn't just coffee. He sees Bruce and nods. "You're the kung fu guy, right?" "Martial artist, yes." "You gonna break some boards?" "Maybe." "Good. The audience loves that stuff. Looks exciting. Better than actors just sitting around talking about movies." The commercial ends. Carson is back on camera, joking with Ed. The audience laughs. His timing is perfect. He's been doing this for 9 years. He knows how to run a room. He knows how to make 20 million people feel like he's talking only to them. "Our next guest," Carson says, "is a martial arts expert who appeared on the Green Hornet and in several films. He's here to show us some amazing moves and maybe teach me how to protect myself from my ex-wife's lawyers. Please welcome Bruce Lee." The band plays. Doc Severinsen is conducting. The curtain opens. Bruce walks out. The lights hit him hard, brighter than he expected. He can't really see the audience. He can only feel them. Hundreds of people sitting out there in the dark. Carson stands up, shakes Bruce's hand, points to the guest chair. Bruce sits down. The chair is lower than Carson's desk. It makes Carson look taller, more in control. It's done on purpose. Bruce knows that, but there's nothing he can do about it. "Bruce Lee, welcome to the show. Thank you for having me." "So you're a martial arts expert. Is that the same thing as karate?" "Not exactly. I practice Chinese martial arts. I started with Wing Chun. Now I teach my own system called Jeet Kune Do." "Jeet Kune Do? That sounds very exotic. What does it mean?" "It means the way of the intercepting fist. The idea is to stop an attack before it fully happens, to stop it while it's just starting." Carson nods like he understands, but his face clearly says he doesn't. "Very interesting. And you can break boards with your hands?" "Yes." "Can you show us?" Bruce gives a small smile. Of course, this is where they start. The show trick. The thing that looks impressive, but doesn't really show true skill. But this is television. You give people what they want. "Yes, I can." Stagehands bring out a wooden board, pine wood, about an inch thick. They hold it up. Carson stays safely behind his desk. Safe distance. "Now doesn't this hurt?" Carson asks. "Hitting wood with your bare hand?" "Only if you do it wrong." The audience laughs. Bruce positions himself, focuses. His hand strikes out, fast, clean. The board breaks in half. The crack echoes through the studio. The audience gasps, then applauds. Carson picks up one of the broken pieces, examines it. "That's incredible. Are you sure this isn't a trick board? You can check it. It's real wood. I believe you. I believe you. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. Carson sets down the board, returns to his desk. So Bruce, tell me, can martial arts actually work in a real fight, or is it more for show? Bruce's expression changes, becomes more serious. Martial arts is very effective in real situations, but it's not about fancy moves. It's about efficiency. Using the least amount of effort to achieve the result. But someone your size, you're what, 5'7", 140 pounds? Could you really defend yourself against a much bigger person? There it is. The size comment. Bruce has heard it 1,000 times. Always the same question, always the same doubt. Size matters less than people think. If you understand body mechanics, if you know where to strike, if you have proper timing, size becomes less relevant. Carson leans back in his chair, thinking. Then he gets that look, that mischievous Carson look that means he's about to do something. Tell you what, I'm 6'1", about 180. You think you could take me? The audience laughs nervously. Is Carson serious? Is this about to turn into something? Bruce smiles, stays diplomatic. I think if we fought, you'd have some advantages, reach, weight, but I'd have some advantages too, training, experience, understanding. So it would be a fair fight? Nothing's fair in a real fight. That's why you train, to make unfair situations survivable. Carson nods. That's actually profound. The philosopher martial artist. He pauses. I heard something interesting about you, though. Something your agent mentioned. Is it true you play piano? Bruce's stomach drops. There it is. The thing he was worried about. I play a little, yes. A little? That's modest. I heard you're actually quite good. Studied for years in Hong Kong. I studied when I was young. Haven't played much recently. Carson's eyes light up. He senses something, a story, something real beneath the surface. We have a piano right here. Doc's piano. Would you play something for us? The audience applauds. Encouraging, excited. They want to see the tough martial artist do something unexpected, something vulnerable. Bruce hesitates. This is the moment. Say no and it looks like he's hiding something. Say yes and he has to do the thing he hasn't done in front of people since he was 14, since his mother died. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Why not? You afraid you'll be bad at something? It's not that. Then what is it? Bruce is quiet, thinking. 20 million people watching, Johnny Carson pushing, the audience waiting, no graceful way out. Okay, Bruce says quietly. I'll play. The audience applauds louder. Carson stands up, walks Bruce over to the piano. Doc Severinsen steps aside, gives up his seat. Bruce sits at the piano bench. The keys are yellowed, no worn from years of Doc's playing. The studio lights reflect off the glossy black surface. Bruce's hands hover over the keys, not touching yet, just hovering. What are you going to play? Carson asks. A Chinese piece, something my mother taught me, called Autumn Moon Over the Calm Lake. Beautiful title. It's a sad song, about loss, about memory, about things you can't get back. The audience is quiet now, sensing something. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is something else, something real. Bruce's hands lower to the keys. His fingers find the starting position, muscle memory from 25 years ago, when he was 9, when his mother would sit next to him, when everything was different. He plays the first note, then the second, then the melody begins. The song is slow, melancholic, with each note hanging in the air before the next one arrives. It's not technically difficult. No fast runs, no complex chords, just simple melody, simple harmony, but played with feeling, with weight, with memory. Bruce's eyes close, his body sways slightly with the music, his hands know what to do, they remember, they've always remembered. The audience is completely silent, even Carson has stopped performing, stopped being Johnny Carson the host, just being Johnny Carson the human, listening. The melody repeats, variations, each one slightly different, each one adding layers, building, not to a climax, to something else, to a release, to an acceptance. Bruce plays for 3 minutes, maybe 4. Time stops meaning anything, there's just the music. Just the memory. Just the feeling of being 9 years old sitting next to his mother while she taught him this song. While she told him about loss, about grief, about how music can hold feelings that words can't touch. The final note fades. Bruce's hands lift from the keys. He opens his eyes, takes a breath. The studio is silent. Complete silence. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Nobody moves. Then someone in the audience starts clapping, slowly. Then others join. Then everyone. Standing ovation, the whole audience on their feet clapping, some of them crying. Actually crying. Bruce stands up, turns around, sees the audience, sees Carson. Johnny Carson has tears on his face, actually crying. Not performing, not doing a bit, real tears. He's trying to wipe them away discreetly, but everyone can see. Bruce walks back to the guest chair, sits down. Unexpected. The audience laughs unexpected. The audience laughs, relieved, the tension breaking. I apologize, Carson says. I didn't mean to get emotional, but that was beautiful. Where did you learn to play like that? My mother taught me in Hong Kong when I was young. Is she still? She passed away when I was 14. Carson nods, understanding. I'm sorry. I lost my mother last year. There's no preparing for it, no matter how old you are. No, there's not. They sit in silence for a moment. 20 million people watching two men share grief, share loss, share the thing that connects everyone, the understanding that people leave, that time moves forward, that some things can't be held onto. That song, Carson says, what's it about? It's about the autumn moon reflecting on a calm lake, about how beauty can exist even in sadness, about how the moon's reflection looks perfect on still water, but if you try to touch it, it disappears. It's about accepting that some things are meant to be observed, not possessed. Carson is quiet, thinking. Then he says something he rarely says, something real. My mother used to play piano, nothing fancy, just simple songs, hymns mostly. She'd play on Sunday evenings. My father and I would sit and listen. I haven't thought about that in years, but your playing just now, it brought it all back. Thank you for that. Bruce nods. Music has a way of opening doors, to memories, to feelings, to things we've locked away. It does. It really does. Carson composes himself, returns to host mode. But something has changed. The performance is gone. Just two people talking. I have to ask, why don't you play more? If you're that good, why hide it? Because people see me as one thing, the martial artist, the fighter, the tough guy. They don't want to see the other parts, the parts that feel, that hurt, that remember. It's easier to just be what people expect. But you're more than that. Everyone is more than what people expect. We just choose what to show. Carson leans forward. Can I tell you something? Off the record. Well, not off the record since 20 million people are watching. But honest? Sure. I've been doing this show for 9 years, interviewed thousands of people. Actors, musicians, politicians, authors, everyone performing, everyone showing their best face, everyone selling something. But what you just did? That wasn't performance. That was real. That was honest. And honest is the rarest thing on television. The audience applauds. They feel it too. The shift, the moment when television stopped being entertainment and became something else, something true. I didn't plan to play tonight, Bruce says. I was actually hoping you wouldn't ask. Why did you do it then? Because you challenged me. Same reason I break boards, same reason I demonstrate techniques. When someone asks, can you really do this? The only answer is to show them. Carson smiles. So, this was another kind of martial arts. Emotional martial arts. Maybe. Never thought about it that way. But maybe. They talk for another 10 minutes. About training, about philosophy, about Bruce's school in Los Angeles, about the students he teaches, about his family, his son Brandon, or his daughter Shannon. The normal talk show material. But it feels different now. Less scripted. More real. Finally, Carson says, Bruce Lee, thank you for being here, for breaking boards, for sharing your philosophy, and most of all, for that beautiful piano performance. That was a gift. Really. Thank you for having me. They shake hands. The band plays. Bruce walks off stage through the curtain, back into the hallway. The production assistant is there. That was incredible, she says. I've never seen Johnny cry on air. Never. He was just being human. Still, that was special. Bruce goes back to the green room, sits on the worn couch. His hands are still shaking. But different now. Not from nerves, from release, from doing the thing he was afraid to do, from being vulnerable on television in front of 20 million people. Linda is waiting in the parking lot. She drove separately, didn't want to sit in the green room being nervous for him. When Bruce gets in the car, she looks at him. How'd it go? I played the piano. What? Carson asked me to play. I played Autumn Moon. Linda's eyes go wide. You played that song on national television? I did. Bruce, you haven't played that song since your mother died. You told me you couldn't, that it was too painful. I know, but Carson asked, and I couldn't say no. And once I started playing, it wasn't as painful as I thought. Still sad, Still heavy, but also relieving, like I'd been holding something in for 17 years and finally let it out. Linda reaches over, takes his hand. I'm proud of you. For breaking a board? For playing the piano? For being vulnerable? For showing people that you're more than just a tough guy who can fight? They drive home in silence, comfortable silence, the kind that comes from understanding without needing words. The next day, Bruce's phone doesn't stop ringing. His agent, other agents, producers, directors, everyone wanting to talk about last night, about The Tonight Show, about the piano. One call is from a film producer. Bruce, I saw you on Carson. That piano performance was incredible. I'm working on a project. It's not just action, it's character, depth, emotion. I think you'd be perfect. Can we meet? Bruce takes the meeting. It leads to a role, then another. Not just fight scenes, actual characters. People with feelings, with histories, with complexity. But more than the career material, something else happens. Letters start arriving. Hundreds of them, from people who watched the show, who saw Bruce play piano, who connected with that moment. One letter is from a war veteran. I saw you on Carson. When you played that song, I cried. I haven't cried since Vietnam, since I lost my best friend. But something about that music opened something in me. Thank you. Another from a widow. My husband died last year. I've been numb, empty. But watching you play, seeing Johnny cry, it reminded me that grief is human, that feeling pain means we loved, that music can touch places words can't reach. Thank you for that gift. A mother writes, my son studies martial arts. He thinks being tough means not showing emotion, but seeing you play piano, seeing you be vulnerable, it taught him something his instructors never could. That strength includes sensitivity. Reinforces the same lesson, that showing reinforces the same lesson, that showing the whole self, not just the part people expect, creates deeper connection, creates real impact. Months later, Carson has Bruce back on the show. Second appearance, rare for a guest who's not a major star. But Carson wants him back, specifically asks for him. This time, Bruce doesn't just demonstrate martial arts, doesn't just break boards. He brings his students, shows teaching, shows philosophy, shows the depth behind the techniques. And at the end, Carson asks, will you play something for us again? The audience erupts. They remember. They want that feeling again. That moment of real emotion on television. Bruce plays. A different song this time. Finishes. He says something that becomes finishes. He says something that becomes famous. Something that gets quoted for years. You know what Bruce Lee taught me? That being strong doesn't mean being hard. That warriors can have soft hearts. That the toughest people are often the most sensitive, because they've learned to protect that sensitivity, to honor it, to express it when safe. Thank you for teaching me that. The audience applauds. Bruce bows slightly. Humble. Grateful. Years later, after Bruce has died at 32, after the world knows him from movies and legend and mythology, Johnny Carson is asked about his favorite guests, about the moments that mattered most in his career. And he always mentions Bruce Lee, both times, but especially the first time, the piano. I've interviewed presidents, Carson says, movie stars, musicians, everyone. But Bruce Lee playing that piano? That was the most honest moment in all my years on television. No performance, no pretense, just a man sharing his grief, his love, his memory through music. I cried that night, really cried, couldn't help it. What he played reached into something I'd been holding, something about my own mother, my own loss. That's television at its best, when it stops being entertainment and becomes human connection. The footage of that night becomes legendary, gets played and replayed, becomes required viewing at film schools, at music schools, at martial arts schools as an example of vulnerability, of authenticity, of showing the whole self. People debate it, analyze it, break down every note Bruce played, every emotion on Carson's face, every moment of silence from the audience. But the people who were there, who saw it live, who felt it in real time, they don't need analysis. They remember. They felt something shift that night. Television did something it rarely does. It showed truth, raw, unfiltered, real. Johnny Carson dared Bruce Lee to play piano on air, expected a parlor trick, a fun moment, a way to show versatility. Instead, he got something else, something unexpected, something that made him cry, made the audience cry, made 20 million people feel something real. And Bruce Lee, the martial artist who the world saw as just a fighter, showed everyone that he was more, that warriors have hearts, that tough people feel deeply, that strength includes softness. That night, Bruce didn't just break boards. He broke expectations, broke barriers, broke through the image people had of him and showed the complete human underneath. And Johnny Carson, the king of late night, the master of performance, stopped performing long enough to be moved, to be touched, to cry on camera. That's what made it special. Not the music, not the skill, the honesty, the vulnerability, the willingness to be seen completely. Minutes after being dared to play, Carson was in tears. And so was America. Because Bruce Lee didn't just play notes, he played truth. And truth, when it's real, when it's honest, when it's shared without walls, always moves people, always has, always will.